We're going to do the experiential portion of the service here in just a second, but I just want to frame why we're doing what we're doing today and why we're doing it in this way. It feels a little Halloween-y in here today. We've got masks, we've got great Celtic-sounding music, and I'm wearing an orange tie.
After all.
But to be honest, I'm a little bit neutral on Halloween. I enjoy the costumes and the masks, and I enjoy the candy. It makes me think about us as humans, about the masks that we wear when it's not Halloween, and the masks that we wear for one another when we're in new settings, sometimes the mask that we put on for ourselves. And that's why I'm so thankful to Bernadette for sharing a little bit about what it means to take the mask off and really look at yourself in the mirror, what it means to act with courage and vulnerability, to share a little bit of yourself with others, and the courage it takes to really see yourself and ask hard questions about who am I and what am I meant to do. So the thing that has driven me in planning this service and in working in a Unitarian Universalist setting that is very interfaith, that is very eclectic, as Steve said today, is that we come with so many different kinds of spiritual experiences. And for those of us for whom earth-based spirituality is not our primary mode, it can seem a little, oh, we're in a circle. What are we doing here? And yet there is so much power to be found. It's like when you look out at the rain and you think, oh no, another dreary day. But on the other side, there's cleanliness and growth that comes from days like this. The Archbishop of Canterbury, Rowan Atkinson, says, when I meet someone, I think two things. One, what can I learn from this person? And two, how can I love this person? I think those are our guiding thoughts today. What does it mean to wear a mask? What does it mean to see others who wear masks physically, emotionally, spiritually? What can I learn from this person? What can they learn from me? How can we love one another? So today we're inviting you to think about those things, which can be uncomfortable. I'm going to invite you to think about some more things that are practical and maybe a little scary and maybe a little uncomfortable as well. But this is the emotional state I want you to be in. Has anyone ever been to one of those haunted houses where you have to walk through and people jump out and scare you? I hate those. I don't like horror movies. I don't like scary movies because I get scared. But what I've come to realize is that it's not the actual things that are scary. It's the uncertainty. It's the unknown. That's what's scary about the dark. And our hope is that today, if we do some work, being able to take off masks that we have, that the unknown gets a little less unknown, gets a little less scary, and that we might find some courage and vulnerability together here today. Samhain is a time of transition and connection, sometimes called the time between times. So we're hoping to move from this either-or thinking, where it's either this or that, to what we call both and. Multi-faith, multicultural, both and. In hopes that we might come to know ourselves a little bit better today, and that others may know us for who we are beneath the masks. So with that, I'm going to let Bernadette come up here, and I'm going to grab my mask. It's in my pocket. And she's going to lead us through what we call the big reveal.
Yeah, the big reveal. You can put your masks on or just have them ready.
And if someone needs a mask, we have extras at the rear of the sanctuary.
Thanks, Leslie. Oh, great. Look at you beautiful people. Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so this is our time to blend a little of Samhain, a little Halloween, a little Beyond the Veil, a little bit of fun, and honor what's behind our mask. not only when the veil is thin is there a closer connection to spirit world, but also a closer connection to being able to open the door to connect with ourself. So we're going to use the metaphor of lifting the mask, both literally and figuratively. So first, if you would pair yourself with someone nearby, maybe not the person you came with, or maybe so, whatever works best for you. And if there's anybody without a partner who wants to do the exercise, if you would raise your hand.
Does anyone need a partner? Anyone need a partner? Fabulous.
Okay, we good? Okay, so each person's going to take a turn. You are behind your mask. The person who goes first is going to take a moment to just think about and honor the various masks you might have used over the years to present and or protect yourself or a part of who you are. Then when you're ready, you'll lower the mask, removing it, uncovering part of you. And you'll share with your partner either one thing I want you to see about me is, or one thing I want you to know about me is. And just share that. And then you'll switch. Any questions? Everybody clear? We good? And the questions are up here. And thank you for doing this little exercise with us. Okay.
So we're going to take just about a minute and 20 seconds or so. So you don't need to share for a long, long time, but you're invited to share as deeply as you will. On your mark, get set, share.
Is our mic off? Good. You want to go first? You want me to go first? No, it isn't. No, I don't. Gary, turn me off.
Not switched yet, please switch sharing. If you're both shared, come on gently back to the...
If you have not shared yet, please make sure you switch sharing. If you have both shared, Gently return your attention back up here. You're invited to put your mask back on if you would like. But I bet you can guess how we're going to end this ritual. Friends, we all have masks that we wear. Sometimes they're for protection. Sometimes we wear them out of necessity. Our hope is that we learn when and where we might be able to take our mask off, to be seen, to be vulnerable, to be courageous, to be together. If you're willing and able, let us take our masks off all together on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Woohoo! Blessed be. Give yourself a hand.
Thank you.
Okay, let's check in. Anybody ever done that in a church service before? How are we feeling? Is anybody feeling a little anxious after all that? Yeah? Anybody feeling kind of relieved after that? You raise your hand if you got to know someone a little better today. I don't want to put anyone on the spot, but I invite you to share more with others with whom you did not share in this little exercise throughout coffee hour, throughout the week. Having conversations like these, we don't have many spaces in our world, in our society, to do things like this. We don't often get opportunities to be vulnerable, to share like this. And it's my firm belief that church life, that houses of worship, this is where you talk about those things. This is where you do the exploration, where you think about what it means to set sail. So we've talked about taking our masks off, being vulnerable, being courageous, having difficult conversations. Bruce mentioned the Dinners for 8th. That's about the 8th principle work. That is about dismantling systemic racism and the racism that lives within us. Those are hard conversations. But I believe that the role of faith life is to be the host of those conversations. So if we're feeling a little more courageous and vulnerable, I'm going to press you a little bit more, right? We're walking through the haunted house. Maybe it's a little less scary now. But this time of year always makes me think about who really knows me? How am I really known? How in touch am I with myself? What does it mean to be alive? And we have all these holy days at this time of year that talk about death, that talk about spirit world, life after. Halloween, Samhain, All Hallows Eve, All Saints Day, All Souls Day. It's that time of year, it seems like. So I wonder what it means for us to be a faith congregation that's really trying to live more fully. Because that's what we preach here, right? We don't preach one ideology or one dogma over another. We're constantly talking about what does it mean to be human? How do we live more humanly lives? How do we connect with one another? Human lives are full of joy. Human lives are full of sorrow. And at the end of human life, we have death. So I've been thinking a lot about death recently. But it hasn't been a bummer. It hasn't been all a rainy day. So I wonder what it would be like for us to talk just a little bit about, if you'll indulge me, what I've been thinking. Samhain teaches us that there's a time between times, that we don't have to think either or necessarily. We can think both and. What does it mean to be alive and to have to die? So some of you may know that in my senior year of seminary, my capstone project for my death and dying course was to plan my own memorial service and fill out an advance directive about medical care. And I was doing this at the same time as KP and I were planning our wedding. I was doing both at the same time. It was very surreal, very meaningful. So let me ask this question. Show of hands, do you know what an advance directive is? Most people. Has anyone filled out an advance directive? Has it on file? Okay. Has anyone talked with others about what you want at your memorial service? Oh, fabulous. Fabulous. I want to get a little practical today, because to be a minister, you have to think about the practical. And I sometimes have conversations with folks, not many times, a lot of times with people that I don't know really well, but who learn what I do and say, hey, can I talk to you about something kind of weird? Sure. Can I talk about my funeral? I say, actually, yes. I am one of the few people in our society that it is completely normal to talk to about that. Please. I wonder what it would be like for this faith community to be a place where we really talk about those things, where we discuss, where we share, where it becomes more normalized than I think it is outside these walls. Maybe I'm misinterpreting that, but hear me. If you would like to talk with me about memorials, about end-of-life stuff, about sticky conversations, I'm happy to listen. I've had to think about it myself, and while I hope that it is a long time away, no one really knows. I'd rather think about it now with a community, with a partner who's willing to help, to hear my wishes, my fears, my hopes, my dreams. KP knows that I have music picked out for my memorial, prayers picked out. I have a request to be cremated if possible, depending on when I die. Cremation may still not be in vogue. I don't know. So if that's still a thing, we'll do that. But if not, if it's possible, I would like to be buried in the suit that I got married in, because that provides incentive for me to try and stay fit and active my entire life. And it is also a very nice suit. I would hate for it to go to waste. So if not here, where? If not now, when? As we age as a congregation, these are things that we have to think about. As uncomfortable as they may be, or as boring as they may be. Boring's okay as well. So, you ready for the practical part? If you have not filled out an advance directive and are kind of interested in what it is, I have a stack of them at the rear of the sanctuary. I encourage you to fill them out. It makes life a lot easier. If you would like to talk about your rituals in life, about memorial services, if you want to fill something out that says, listen, I don't know what it's going to be, McKinley, but whenever it is, if you're here, I want you to do this. I'll do it. I'm happy to hear that, to talk about it. Not because it's pleasant, although it can be. Not because it's urgent, although it may be. But because it's important. I think it's important to contemplate the both and. I think it's important to contemplate what is in the dark that still gives us the heebie-jeebies, what it is about the unknown. Then maybe by talking about it, it becomes a little less unknown. And I think if my experience is a guide, having those conversations, doing that kind of planning, helps me be so much more appreciative and grateful for today, for every second, for the rain outside, even when it makes me sleepy. I hope that might be your experience too. And I hope that it might make you feel more alive and be able to answer the question, with the people who are around me here and now, what can I learn today? How can I love today? Question that I often ask KP is, whose life did you impact today? And who impacted yours? Friends, I believe that death is another part of life. Maybe it's the last part. Maybe it's the middle, the bridge. We'll all figure it out someday. But till then, may we do our best to live here, fully and now. and plan to let others see behind our mask. Let them know us before the time is up and the mask comes off for the final time. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen.